Today is the first day of the coverage of the Indian stock market. Now we are going to coverage the Indian stock market, mainly the Nifty and the Sensex. As we know that the Nifty and the Sensex is going up by all-time high, and from the date of election announced, the result of the election announced, the Nifty and Sensex somehow were flat, even go lower. Then what it can indicate about the Indian stock market? It can about it was about that the Indian stock market still was in the prevent mood because the number comes from the inflation was not so good, and the inflation is still too high. So the Indian stock market fear that in coming days it will happen that the RBI will hike the repo rate and other the things that can dictate the growth of the Indian stock market, that while the many stocks PE is too high, that means as the stock prices grow, the profit of the company does not grow at the same level, so the PE of the company is still too high. So and the other thing that the Indian stock market dictate, that the foreign investor come out of their money and invest in another stock market of the different world. And another thing that dictate the Indian stock market and prevent it from growing further is that the number comes from the China economy, is that it may not grow and it may go into recession. And if China goes into recession, then it can affect the whole world, and it can also affect the Indian companies that is listed on the Indian stock market, because as the China goes into recession, the world was not prepared, because China has a big large share of their economy in the world market. And if China goes into recession, then it can also affect the export that is India is doing to the China and the other country. And it may give the idea that if China goes into recession, then who is the most importer of Chinese goods? The West. And West can't able to buy goods from the China, then it may also a definite point to argue about that maybe the West is not in the position to spend furthermore. Then it can also affect the Indian companies who export most of the goods in West. So as we know, these factors are going well. The main thing that doesn't happen, that any war is not happening between 10 to 15 days, so that can support the Indian stock market. And also we can see that in the first cabinet there is a push over of GDP infra projects. So the Indian government is keen on growing the infra projected. So as we look and took a deep dive on the Indian stock market. So thank you.